Hello everybody and welcome to Jumputi Heroes. Welcome to 2020. I kind of took a little break from everything for New Year because I was very sick. I think I'm on the upward turn now. Still not great, but to start off 2020, I'm gonna put my pulls that I did over the festive period in the background. There were some pretty nice ones. And it will show like which banner it was on and how many summons and all that stuff. This video, however, is not featuring those summons. I didn't really get proper reactions to most of these summons because I was sick. So I couldn't actually, I just sounded like shit, if I'm honest. I sounded like shit. What we're doing today, though, is we're going to be talking about what I'd like to see from the game in 2020. Now, there's a New Year event going on right now. If you want to know more about that, there'll be a news post in the description. And we already know that the first major event of the year, not including the New Year event, obviously, is going to be HOUSHIN ENGI, seemingly a feature festival. We don't have a lot of information on that, but we know it's coming. All the information we do have is in that news post. But what I want to talk about is everything that comes after that, pretty much. So, in 2019, 259 units were added to the Jumputi roster, which is an insane amount for any game to be adding. But with Jumputi, it's particularly awesome because there's so many different characters from so many different series, and to be fair to them, in 2019 we got a bunch of new series, we got a bunch of new characters from series that had got nothing in 2018, and it was just like, it was a nice little pick and mix of characters. It was really great. And what I want to talk about is I'll show you on the screen once the summons are done. I've taken the 2020 New Year image that they put out, and I have turned it into a bingo board. And the purpose of this bingo board is I'm going to say 49 characters that I think I would like to see in Jumputi that potentially could be added to Jumputi. But to incentivize it a little bit more, obviously I'm going to, talk about each character, why, who they are and why they should be in and stuff. But to incentivize it a little bit more, there are going to be rewards. Not for me, but for community. So, while all these rewards haven't been nailed down 100%, they will all be Shonen Jump related. And if we get a line, that'll be one reward. If we get 2 lines, 2 rewards. If we get a bingo, there'll be a big rewards and rewards for all the lines leading up to it. However, I'm not going to say what the rewards are yet, because like I said, I haven't got them hammered down completely, and, well, it's more fun to keep it a mystery. But also, it has to be in 2020. If they come out in 2021, they're not getting ticked off the board. So there's a year. There's a year, and we're trying to get them all. Now, to be fair, I don't want to, I could have just put a bunch of super obscure Shonen Jump characters in, but that's no fun, and that completely invalidates the purpose of this. So, I've put a mix. I've put characters from big series, I've put characters from medium, small, and the kind of only restriction, well, 2 restrictions. No new versions of existing characters. I'm sure there will be those in 2020, but not for the purpose of this bingo. And only 2 characters per series. So if I wanted to have a bingo that was easy to complete, and I could have just said, oh, we'll get Tien, and we'll get Brook, and we'll get, I would have just listed off like a bunch of One Piece, Dragon Ball, Bleach, whatever. So it's a mix. It's a mix, which is what we want. It's a mix. So, to start things off, bingo boards typically in the middle have like a bonus square. Well, not real bingo boards so much, but you know, when these anime games do it, definitely the bingo middle square, and we're going to be doing that. The middle square has 3 characters in it, but the reason why this is kind of a bonus square is because it's 3 characters we already know are planned to be added to the game soon. Itachi has been known for a while. The talk of Itachi started back in the lead up to the 1st anniversary, so that was early last year. And somebody was asking the developers, and they said Itachi will have his time soon. His stage is in the files. The Uchiha hideout is in the files, and current thoughts are he's probably going to be a Genkai battle, and he's probably going to come out sometime in 2020. MIHAWK is a bit of a newer one, but his stage was added to the files. Kuraigana Island. We also have Ryzen. Ryzen got added with a bunch of other stuff that maybe suggests some, like, either a Yu Yu Hakusho event or a Togashi feature Sensei festival, whatever it's called. But either way, these 3 characters, if any one of those gets added, then that square will be ticked off. Okay? All the other squares only have 1 character, just this middle one, just this special middle one. So where do we start? I mean, I guess I can just start anywhere. Oh, didn't mean to move that. 1 second. There we go. Let's start off with square number 1. Rengoku. This one, I think I put in a couple of other, like, predictions and stuff in the past. He's from Kimetsu no Yaiba, if you are not informed. He is going to be a prominent part of the Kimetsu no Yaiba movie that's coming up. A movie that's going to turn an arc that probably could have been part of the anime. They're going to turn that into a movie, and that's going to be part of the story. So this is going to be really good. I'm quite looking forward to the release of that. And realistically, I think Jumputi, while they did do some good stuff for Kimetsu no Yaiba when it came out, they did like a thing that's like, the anime is quite successful, let's do a feature festival, mini feature festival, which they call a Puti feature. And we got some Kimetsu no Yaiba characters from that. We also got some characters before that. We got Rui and we got Tanjiro. And now we've kind of got, like, the main cast, pretty much. But we are missing the pillars. We are missing a lot of key villains. And I think 2020, Kimetsu no Yaiba seemingly is moving towards the end of the manga. It's going to be a big year for the anime also, at least in terms of the movie, if not the continuation of the series, which I don't know if that'll start this year, but if it's not starting at the end of this year, it's probably going to get announced this year at least. So, perfect time to add him. And more specifically because of how he's going to feature in the movie. Because he plays a very prominent role in that movie. That movie's kind of his story. Keep doing that, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's jump to a different line. Let's jump to here. So that is Gojo REINA. She is the sister of Gojo Yuma from HINOMARU ZUMO. But she also plays a very prominent role in HINOMARU ZUMO. And she is one of the characters that probably has the most character development out of the entire series. And I would say I would like to see her added to the game. You can add her from pre-time skip, you can add her from post-time skip, you can add her from the very end of the series. Any version would be fine with me. I would like to see her added to the game. And I would like more HINOMARU ZUMO in general. Because, you know, HINOMARU ZUMO got this tiny little event. And I know there's other series that are probably more deserving of a bigger event than HINOMARU ZUMO. But just here and there, just throwing like an event, a gacha, just whatever. Just keep, you know, dribbling out content for it. I don't expect a feature festival for HINOMARU ZUMO. Especially seeing as it's, you know, the manga ended and the relevancy of the anime was... I think most people agreed that the anime was not that great an adaptation, though it did have a banging soundtrack. I think there's not going to be a point at which everyone's like, oh shit, Hinomaru Zumo's back in like the public eye and everyone's loving it, and now let's do an event. So really, I just need them to add characters here and there, and I need REINA to be one of them. Let's move on to one of the bottom rows. These rows really have no rhyme or reason to them, so don't read too much into it. Let's go with this slot, Yuji Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen. It's one of the like big series in Jump that the anime has. I remember correctly, it's been announced. We haven't seen any like trailers or anything for it yet. We haven't seen what it's going to look like, but I think, and I'm not the only one that thinks this, a lot of people think this, once the anime drops for Jujutsu Kaisen, it's going to pop off. It's going to go mad, because all the people that are currently reading Jujutsu Kaisen cannot tell you enough how amazing it is. Once the anime is actually out and people can watch it, I think that's going to kind of boost the popularity even more. You know, this is kind of what happened with Kimetsu no Yaiba. I couldn't stop talking about how much I enjoyed Kimetsu no Yaiba, but the anime, it transcended. People were watching it from all over the world. People that had no interest in reading Kimetsu no Yaiba were happy to watch the anime. And the anime was a very good product. It was a very well done product. And I'm hoping the anime can do the same for Jujutsu Kaisen. And it's one of the series in Jump right now that, you know, obviously you have One Piece, and it's just, you know, technically you have Hunter x Hunter, but we've been slowly getting to a point where it's like the new generation is coming through, and some of those new generation are already coming to an end, you know. The Promised Neverland coming to an end, Kimetsu no Yaiba coming to an end. We just had Hinomaru Zumo and Yukio no Soma, Shokugeki no Soma end, I think, last few years. And series are just slowly dying off. And, you know, in a way that's better because it means they get a proper ending rather than going on forever and then getting a really unsatisfactory conclusion. But it leaves space for other series to thrive, and that's what Jujutsu Kaisen's going to be, really. And I think once the anime comes in, we're really going to see more of that. So let's go for another line. Let's go for you. Let's go. Okay. Speaking of those series, Rei from the Promised Neverland. Who knew I would want more Promised Neverland in the game? I don't know. I'm surprised we haven't had more. I'll be honest. We had Emma. We had Mama Isabel. And that's it. I think that's it. That's the only... Well, technically there's an enemy-only character for Sister Crone. But that's it. And I think the series is kind of in a weird place where there aren't so many prominent main characters that it would be easy to do lots of like a massive event for. But definitely like an event the size of what we had for Yu-Gi-Oh!, what we had for Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Pooty feature, something like that, you could definitely do for the Promised Neverland, you know. We've got Rei, we've got Norman, yeah. Some of the other kids you could add, though a lot of them don't really have much to do until after the events of the first season of the anime. And there's also there's also stuff like, I don't know, how much do I want to talk about this? This is kind of getting into like spoiler territory. I don't really want to talk about it, but there are other characters after the first season of the anime that you would definitely say could be added. Whether they will, I don't know. But I think that I would say that they're waiting for the second season of the anime to start before they do anything. But that hasn't really stopped them in the past. They've spoiled stuff for Kimetsu no Yaiba that hasn't happened in the anime. They've spoiled stuff for My Hero Academia that hadn't happened in the anime. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think Rei is pretty much a shoo-in to be added at some point. There's no doubt about that. Let's go for... Oh, that's a good one. KYOJURO from RUROUNI Kenshin. He, like, he so should have been added as a limited during that Kenshin Feature Festival, and they didn't. There was like one event and one character was all they needed to add to that event to make it absolutely perfect, and it had to either be an event where they had Anji, so you actually had Sanosuke countering something, or if they could have done like I know they did a Unity battle, but the Unity battle Kanryu was really unsatisfying because we didn't get any of the ONII-SAN group added as like even as enemy characters. We only had the ones that were already in the game as enemy characters. And then we had Kanryu, who was not available as a character. It was just a legend summon. So it was really frustrating because there was space for more there, and they didn't quite do it, and it was just unsatisfying. But you know, all credits to them. Most events they have done have banged, and that event was good. It was just missing a little something. Had that have been KYOJURO versus Fuji, that would have been incredible. But it wasn't. And I'm really hoping that he does get added at some point. He will probably be a limited, so let's be realistic. He will probably be a limited. And I have no problem with that. I'm happy with that. So, fingers crossed, 2020 is his year. Let's go with... Okay, let's go with this one. Ramen Man from Kinnikuman. So, he was one of the characters that kind of got snubbed during that event. But that Kinnikuman event was a little bit weird. The Kinnikuman event was... it had features in it from chapters that were not in Weekly Shonen Jump. They were still from Kinnikuman, but they were from Kinnikuman's modern continuation in another magazine. What that means for other series potentially getting content from their manga that is not in Weekly Shonen Jump, I think for the most part it's a little bit of a grey area. Like, all it really tells us is, say for example, World Trigger. If World Trigger wants more content, the fact that it's now in Jump Square won't affect which characters and which scenes can appear in the game. Even if a chapter, even if a character is prominently featured in Jump Square and not in Weekly Shonen Jump, those characters can still be in Jumputi. However, it doesn't really clear up the kind of grey area that some other series are in, where, say, like, they got a continuation with a slightly different name, or, you know, the focus switched to another character or whatever. Like, sure, Kinnikuman is okay, but is Kinnikuman Nisei okay? Because that was in a different magazine with a different title, and the focus was on a different character. Or the focus is on the same character in Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball Show, but it's in a different magazine, it has a different name. So it doesn't really clear things up. But because they did that, it did mean that Goldman and Silverman got added to the game, and it did mean that, well, there wasn't really space for Ramen Man in the event, I suppose. So I'm just saying, he is one of the most popular characters. He got his own anime spin-off. He's got to be added. He's got to be added. And there's a lot of eligible characters from Kinnikuman. It's a series that's gone on for so long. And someone like Kinniku Ataru would be amazing. But Ramen Man gets first dibs because he should be in the game. He should be part of the Kinnikuman base roster. So he gets the nod for now. But there is more I would like to see. Let's go with let's go with this one. Now This is sorry, got a cold, as I said. This is Kenichi. He is from the Burning Wild Man, which is well, if you've played certain other Jump games from the past, you might know him. But he is from a series, it's also called MOERU ONII-SAN, if you want to Google it, because I'm not sure if you Google the Burning Wild Man, it'll actually come up. But I think that's the westernized title. The reason I want to see him added is because we need to continue the trend of new series being added, and he is, I would say, an eligible candidate. Now, Shonen Jump has like so many series that they could potentially add that realistically they won't. It only has a couple of chapters and it got cancelled, or it only has, I don't know, like maybe one volume. A lot of these series are not getting added. Some of them still will. Even series with very short runtimes might still get added, simply because, you know, the devs take a liking to the series, or, you know, they see some fans that want it and they decide, hey, it's worth doing. You know, we've definitely had series before, like Shadow Lady, that do not have that much in the way of like actual content to adapt because they are very short, but the devs have decided that's worth making at least one character out of, just to add that series into the game in some way. I don't know how much we would get from MOERU ONII-SAN, but I would hope we can at least get one character. Now, I will say, some of the series on here I haven't read. That doesn't mean I don't want to read them. It means that I can't read them because they are not available. Some of them are translated, some of them aren't. Some of them are translated poorly. Some of them are only translated for like the first like few volumes or whatever, and then they cut off. One that always upset me was Hell Teacher Nube, because it, like, the translations cut off at the point where it was really getting good. And I just couldn't find any more translations up until it skipped like a bunch of chapters and then went into the sequel spin-off, and then it's like, I think it's called Hell Teacher Nube Neo or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll read that, but it just didn't make any sense to me because it was all different. It was kind of the same characters, but they're different. I don't know. Point is, I would like to see some more smaller series added along with the bigger series, and some more, like, I just would like some new series. So Kenichi, I think it's Kokuho? I'd like to see him added. And while we're here, let's get this one up. Fugen Shinjin. There is a very good chance that Fugen Shinjin from HOUSHIN ENGI will be added in the next event. Is it guaranteed? No. Do we have any sort of indicator that it will be added? No. But he is one of the characters that got added in Ore Collection. Rest in peace, Ore Collection. And I took a liking to his art in Ore Collection, and I don't know, I've started reading HOUSHIN ENGI. I haven't got to the point that he is in the series, but if he was good enough to be added as a prominent character in Ore Collection, hey, he's good enough to be added to Jumputi also. Let's move on to, okay, this is a good one. Wakashimazu Ken from Captain Tsubasa. The reason I say this is a good one is because this gets me to start talking about a point that I meant to cover when I was talking about Kenichi, but I forgot. And that is characters based around a sport being quite big in this year in particular. Now, what that means is, I did hear some talk about when certain sporting events were happening, maybe certain characters from, you know, if there's a big tennis event, you could add characters from Prince of Tennis. If there's a big football event, you could add characters from Captain Tsubasa, stuff like that. But this year, is the perfect time. Okay, during the World Cup, which was 2 years ago, I think the game had only just like really gotten going, so there was no room for a Captain Tsubasa event or something like that for the World Cup. But now we're getting to the point where the events that we can do are a lot more varied, and you know, the sky's the limit. They have a lot more space to do what kinds of events they want to do. We've seen a lot of different kinds over the festive period, and coming up in the summer is the Euros, which is not important because Japan obviously would not be in the Euros, but also the Olympics, specifically the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The Olympics are being hosted in Japan this year, and some of the characters on this board have been chosen because of their eligibility for the sports which appear in the Olympics, which they are a part of in their series. So Wakashimazu Ken has been chosen here because he is part of the Japan national team in Captain Tsubasa. I should say, if you don't know Captain Tsubasa, it's football, it's soccer, he's part of the Japan national soccer team. And I think, you know, more Captain Tsubasa is obviously good, but I think that does make sense. Kenichi, if I didn't mention, for his karate, and Ken for his football, both of which will be appearing at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. I didn't mention this when going over Hinomaru Sumo because sumo is not a part of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. There is stuff like wrestling, which technically, if you're talking about KINNIKUMA, something like that, there is wrestling, so could make some sort of appearance, but I think this would be a good year to do some stuff for Captain Tsubasa, in my opinion. Let's move on to who should we move on to? Let's see. Okay, let's move on to KOJURO from FUMA no KOJURO, which is a series by Kurumada, who is the person that made SEIYA. You probably recognize the art style at least. The reason I put him in here is for really just two reasons. One, I always thought the character looked cool and I would have liked to see more. But two, because there is a very good chance we could get a Kurumada like Sensei Festival. You know, we got the Usuta Sensei Festival for Christmas, and again, we have no guarantee that they're going to do more of these, but it does feel like they're going to do more of them. I'm almost certain we're going to get a Togashi one at some point at least. And probably the same with Akira Toriyama, because if you don't actually know, Toriyama has quite a few series in Shonen Jump. Just a lot of... There's like Dragon Ball, there's Dr. Slump, there's Galactic Patrolman Jacko, but there's also like Sandland, which doesn't have much in it. There's Koa, which doesn't have much in it, and I think there's another one that's like an adventure one I can't remember the name of, but he's had quite a few series, so he'll probably get some kind of feature as well. Kurumada I mentioned specifically because Saint Seiya kind of hasn't had that much content. It's got two of the hardest stages in the game. Cool. And we do have, you know, we've slowly been building our Saint Seiya roster. But I do kind of feel like it's one of those series where, because it's not quite popular enough in terms of, you know, the Jumputi fans, they kind of, I don't know, they kind of got underserved a little bit. Especially like with the last little the Hades thing. I think a lot of us were hoping for Athena or for Shun, but instead we got nothing. Well, tell a lie. We got Minato from Naruto. I might be getting my timeline a bit wrong there, but I think that's right. I think we got Minato. No, Minato was green. I think we just got nothing. I think we just got nothing. We didn't get a character to counter Hades. Oh, we did. We got we got Aimi, right? Aimi was the character that countered Hades, but Aimi was a standard gacha unit and was not on her own banner really. So it was just it was kind of upsetting for some of the Saint Seiya fans, and I don't blame them, because you know, if you like a series and it ends up getting a little bit underserved, it's a little bit of a shame. It's a little bit of a shame. Personally for me, just a little bit more Saint Seiya stuff, just a little bit more. Well, it doesn't all have to be Saint Seiya. There are other series that that Kurumada has worked on. I'm trying to remember the name of the one with the girl in high school. I can't remember it right now. But he's got a few different ones he's worked on. And while we're here, we might as well. There is Shun from Saint Seiya. I don't really have to explain this one. Shun should have been added earlier. You know, we got Ikki, we got Shiryu, we got Seiya. We got Hyoga added for the Saga event, but still no Shun. Logically, it made sense to add Shun for the Hades event, and then you've at least completed the lineup, the main lineup. But no, we didn't. So it's a shame. But oh, I scrolled up. My bad. It's a shame, but that's just how it is, unfortunately. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Okay, well, we were just talking about Akira Toriyama, so let's get our Dragon Ball rep out of the way. It's Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball. Shouldn't really have to explain who Chi-Chi is, but the reason I've chosen her over any of the, you know, hundreds of other characters in Dragon Ball is just because I feel like there's a lot you could do with this. I've chosen this specific version of Chi-Chi, which is the one from the World Tournament, the one that challenges Goku to a fight just before they get married, which I guess spoilers for Dragon Ball, I don't know. But the reason I've chosen this one is because I feel like this is a character you could do like as part of an event. You know, a lot of the time there's like a character, you'll try and bring in a character and you're like, how do you fit these into the event? Like, I think they did that a bit with Warsman in the KINNIKUMA event. It was just kind of like, we haven't made him gacha, we're going to make him free, but we made him free, and he's, you know, the way the enemies were counted in that event were very strange, because like the fights were from all over the place throughout the series, and it just became like a mix-up. And sometimes a mix-up is fine, but if you're talking about a Dragon Ball event, like having something traditional like the World Martial Arts Tournament, Tenkaichi Budokai, or something along those lines, and putting Chi-Chi in as part of that. You could also put, like, Tien is obviously a very good choice. I think Tien is probably, they're probably about the same amount of being likely, but a lot of who would get in from Dragon Ball comes down to whether or not they include stuff from Dragon Ball Super. And I know immediately you're going to say Dragon Ball Super is not part of Weekly Shonen Jump, and you are correct. But I always go back to that KINNIKUMA event, and I always say, while it does not definitively say either way whether or not we will or won't get stuff from series like Dragon Ball Super, it does leave the door open for them to potentially do that later. And I don't necessarily see them doing that, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Blue Goku at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if we got Beerus at some point. And I mean, why not? At this point, why not? Okay, next up, there's two characters I want to talk about, and that is Aomine Daiki from Kuroko no Basuke and Kataharu Urobota from Robot Laser Beam. And I gotta say, looking back, Robot Laser Beam is a dumb name. Some people tell me you're not supposed to say the X's. Like, it's not Hunter X Hunter, it's Hunter Hunter. So it's not Robot X Laser Beam, it's Robot Laser Beam. So that's what I assume it is. I could be wrong, it could be Robot X Laser Beam. Either way, it's a really dumb title for a manga about golf. However, I think these two potentially could be included if we ever did get a Fujimaki Sensei feature. The art for both are very strong, mostly. and the anime, obviously, for Kuroko no Basuke. I mean, it did similar things for the series that Kimetsu no Yaiba's anime did for it, because, you know, the series obviously had its popular enough to get an anime in the first place. But after the anime came out, when Kimetsu no Yaiba came out, obviously, you couldn't go anywhere without somebody talking about Kimetsu no Yaiba. With Kuroko no Basuke, it wasn't quite as bad, but in terms of anime, in terms of like being on YouTube and stuff, you had all these AMVs, you had all of these like YouTube reviews and stuff. Like it was really popping off at the time. Robot Laser Beam sadly did get ended early, but it still went on for a little while. Like there's a lot of series that did not last very long in Shonen Jump, and I think, you know, Fujimaki obviously had Kuroko no Basuke, so I guess they gave it a bit more time than they might have given to other series that maybe weren't doing so well. But I think it did well enough that, you know, there's enough content there. You could at least add one character from it, if not multiple characters. And personally, I find it a little bit strange we haven't had more Kuroko no Basuke. Like, I know we've had like a half decent amount of Kuroko no Basuke, but like, I'm surprised we haven't had more, simply because it seems like they've had the Generation of Miracles done and dusted for a long time, and they just haven't released them. I guess they're trying to stagger it, I don't know. But again, golf and basketball are both at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, so when we do get that Olympics event, these two are candidates for that. So hey guys, get excited for the golf event. Let's go to this one. Fukuda from Bakuman. Now, I've recently told people Bakuman is probably my new favourite Shonen Jump series, which is quite a big statement, because I mean, not really, because you know, there's recency bias, because I've read it recently, or not that recently, like a year ago now. I don't know how long, sometime in 2019. And there's also an element of like, I haven't reread some of the series that like I'm really big fans of recently, so, you know, I flip-flop a lot on which series would be my favourite. But the bottom line is, Bakuman is a very good series, and I would like more, please. Actually, you know, while we're here, boom, there's Kaya Miyoshi, one of my favourite characters from Bakuman. Two of my favourite characters from Bakuman on the screen right now. And I think, realistically, we could get them in one of two ways. One, as a Bakuman... I don't think we'd get a Bakuman feature, first of all, but a Bakuman Pooty feature, something like that. Or in a Sensei feature for, is it Oba and Obata? Or I actually don't know how they would do it, because they are a artist duo, but it would mean more content from, potentially from Death Note, from, is it Blue Rao Grand Dragon? Puppeteer Sakon, and is it Puppeteer Sakon? I think it's Puppeteer Sakon, and Bakuman, and they've all worked on different stuff, but I can't remember what they've worked on separately and what they've worked on together, so I'm getting a little bit confused. Did they work on Hikaru no Go together? I don't remember. But the bottom line is, I would like more from Bakuman. That's how it is. I would like more from Bakuman. And I've chosen two characters because I like the series, so yeah, that's just how it is. While we're talking about that, I might as well show my second character from Kimetsu no Yaiba, which is Tokito Muichiro. Again, I chose two characters from Kimetsu no Yaiba because I really like Kimetsu no Yaiba, but I also chose him just because I think it would be a little bit different, because if you look at, I don't know, if you look at how I've like looked at Kimetsu no Yaiba in the past, I kept saying I wanted certain characters, and a lot of them have got added already. And I would like Rengoku. I would also like basically any of the pillars, but I feel like Tokito, again, is a character that fits into an event. He fits in, I can't speak about it at length without spoiling the arc, but there is a specific arc where he is quite a prominent feature, and he fits into that event. And so that's why I think he is a good choice, rather than picking characters that I really like that don't necessarily fit straight into that event. That being said, I would really like Genya, and he would also fit into that same event. So, could be interchangeable with Genya, but I'm going to go with Tokito. Let's go with Zebra from Toriko. I'm surprised we haven't had more Toriko, if I'm honest, because as far as I can see, it seems to be a decently popular series. I've seen a lot of people talking about Toriko potentially getting... Well, I mean, when Starjin was added, that was nice. I mean, but other than him, I don't know. It's very tricky because there are obvious choices from the main roster that have just been ignored. But I mean, Toriko was added in a gacha ages ago, and then Komatsu was added as like a seasonal free event that only comes around once in a blue moon. And then Starjin was added to the Versus Medal Shop. I'm kind of thinking they don't see it as a particularly profitable series if Toriko is the only character they've added as gacha. I might be wrong on that. I don't know. I also don't know how they would handle Zebra, because it could be an event character or a gacha. But I think like he is a pretty obvious choice if we are going with Toriko. And I don't know, I just find it a little bit odd. Some of these 2000 series, like, I just thought we'd have more content for, and we just don't. I know Gintama's quite prominent, I know Bleach is quite prominent within the game, but a lot of the series in between, like, well, a personal favourite of mine, Katekyo Hitman Reborn, and many other 2000 series, we got like one or two characters, and then the series hasn't been touched again, pretty much. It's very odd. Toriko falls into that, Bobobo falls into that. I don't know. Maybe this year we'll see more from series that are in the 2000s. Now that is over 10 years ago. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's go with this one. William A. Zappelli from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The reason he's included, basically, is because he should already be in the game, and I'm annoyed that he's not. It's pretty straightforward, you know. We got a massive event for Stardust Crusaders. We got a massive event for Diamond is Unbreakable. And then for the first two parts, we got these teeny tiny little events. And we know for a fact, based on what was written in the files, that originally Lisa was planned as a legend summon, and seeing as a lot of the legend summons have been added later as characters, that would have been a path into the game for Lisa, at least from part 2. But from part 1, it has always been those two characters. It has been Jonathan and Dio Brando, and that is it. And that's a little bit sad, because part 1, I know there's not that many characters you can take from part 1, and I know that it's quite short in comparison to a lot of the other parts. But yo, Zappelli is an obvious choice. Okay, so I will say to the people, Speedwagon also, obvious choice. And they just haven't got added. It's just a little bit sad, that's all. I like Will Zappelli, he's just not been added. A disservice. Phantom Blood has been disservice, really. Oh, I scrolled. I didn't mean to scroll, sorry. This video is very long, and I know it's all over the place, but I know maybe 2 or 3 people appreciate it. So for those 2 or 3 people, hey, how's it going? Let's go with, boom, Aoi Yume from Yume Senshi Wingman. Now, I actually, this image I've got here, I was trying to find a good picture of her. This image is actually an original cell from the anime. That's like, obviously I've had to crop it, but it's from an original cell from the anime, so it's actually surprisingly very high quality, but obviously I've had to shrink it down for this video. Just a fun fact, I guess. But I say Aoyume, one, because I want us to continue the trend of taking all the characters that Ore Collection used to have, because, you know, we have to remember how good that game was, and how the new game, Ore Collection 2, is not Ore Collection and has ruined all our hopes and dreams. So, would be nice to get Aoyume for that reason. Also because I think Wingman... it's nice that Kenta Hirano, while kind of like specific in his skill set, is actually a very useful unit when needed. I like that, and I would like Aoyume to be added in a similar way, in a gacha, as just a one-off character or whatever. You don't need to add a lot from this series, but just continue to show a bit of appreciation to the 80s and 70s series that maybe... well, and 60s. These series that maybe haven't had much love in other games, or have had little bits of love. Just continue that. Just continue. This is what Jumputi should be about. It's about spreading the love. And I would like to see Aoyume. Just purely based on... I only know her from Ore Collection, pretty much. So, just based off of that, I would like to see her added. Let's see. What else can we do now? Actually, you know what? We were just talking about showing the love. Let's show the love. Mankichi Togawa from Otoko Ippikigaki Daisho is a character that appeared in Ore Collection also. Actually, you know what? While we're here, where is he? Boom. Takao Taniguchi from Play Ball. If we could get these characters added, these characters from the series that are much earlier in Weekly Shonen Jump's history. Togawa, if you remember, is the oldest character added to Ore Collection from Weekly Shonen Jump. He was before even stuff like Kochikame and all that. He was a very early series, and you know, it would have been nice to have him added to Ore Collection, to Jumputi. Sorry, I'm not sure why he hasn't been. Takao Taniguchi obviously has the benefit of being a baseball player, and baseball players can be added in the Olympics event because baseball is the national sport of Japan and it will be featuring in the 2020 Olympics. So hey, pretty good. Also, you know, it stands to be said that it's, while there are hundreds of sports manga over the years, you know, in terms of baseball manga, Playball is a very prominent series from way back when, and it would be nice to have that nod, to an older series, and same with Otoko Ippikigaki Taisho, you know, classic shonen manga. It would just be nice to see them. It would be nice to show the appreciation, you know. Let's go for something for... we got some gaps on line 2. Let's go for line 2. What we got? Okay, this one... Ogata Rizu from We Never Learn, or Bokuben. She's best girl. I'm sorry, she is. We had the anime recently come to an end, and the anime has an anime-only ending because the manga is not finished. Now, I always think, under normal circumstances, that is an awful thing to do. For a normal manga, that is an awful thing to do. But for something like We Never Learn, for something like Nisekoi, whatever, it's better to end the anime as its own thing, because if people already know how it's going to end, in a series like that in particular, it could dissuade them from watching the anime. Like, if the manga's already over and I watch the anime and it has the same ending, like, I wouldn't have watched a Nisekoi anime if I knew it was going to have the exact same ending as the manga. I still haven't watched a Nisekoi anime, but I wasn't watching it when it came out, so it's different. If I was told the anime was going to have a different ending, its own special ending, I would watch that and then watch the manga, you know, or then read the manga. But basically what I'm trying to say is, the anime ending, I was not a fan of. I was not particularly a fan of. But I've still got my fingers crossed for the manga. I'm almost 100% sure that Rizu is not going to be the winning girl in this series. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, lads. She's just not. I'm hoping she will be, but I'm pretty sure she won't be. And, you know, it would be nice if, for once, the girl I'm rooting for could win. But if she can't win, the best alternative is that she gets added to Jumputi. This one's basically a free square, so you guys can thank me for that one, because we already know that We Never Learn is being added. It's been confirmed, and we've had the first signs of it in the files as the study room that they use in the series. So I think probably the first, I don't know, Naruyuki and like the 2 poster girls or the 3 poster girls. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure, but we're at least gonna get Rizu. That much is for certain, I think. And right next to her, Sasagawa Ryohei. He's also eligible because he's a boxer. He could be in the Olympics. Let's go! But on a real note, more Katekyo Hitman Reborn in 2020. I beg. I beg. I beg. I think I've also got down here somewhere. Boom. Hibari Kyoya. More Katekyo Hitman Reborn in 2020, please. Like, I know, guys, I know these 2000 series are probably more popular with me than they were actually popular in reality, but they were at least semi, you know, decently sized. I would like more. I would like more content from them, please. And I don't know. I would just like more. Let's go for one that's definitely getting in. Momo from My Hero Academia. She's got to be a dead set. Like, even if we don't get a full My Hero Academia event this year, we're going to get some My Hero Academia characters. We've gone through a lot of the class. I think this year we're probably going to get Endeavor. We're probably going to get some of the villains as well. Like, if they do a Dark Heroes event, I could see the Villains League getting some characters added. But even that, we've already got, like, Toga has been added to the game already. We've had One for All and Overhaul. I'm just trying to think, like, how they're going to handle more My Hero Academia. But I think definitely Momo would be a prime candidate if we're getting more My Hero Academia content, so easy choice. Easy choice. Let's go for another one on the top row. Hiryu Asaga from Siren. Please add Siren to the game. I beg. I beg. Like, even if we're not going to get Hiryu, even if, like, we barely get one character, please add Siren to the game. It would make me very happy. And I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a little bit disappointed that we haven't had it up until now. But, you know, they're thinking long term. They're just saving it for later. Let's go with who's on? Oh, didn't do that. Who's on the 4th row? Who's on the 4th row? That's a good one. Let's go with Kei Yanagi from Act Age. Easy choice, realistically, because Act Age is... I know it hasn't won any of the surveys or anything, but it's definitely going to be added. Like, the manga's starting to pop off. Like, once we have an Act Age anime incoming, like, the popularity is going to be going crazy. It's in a similar situation to Jujutsu Kaisen. We need more of these series being added, and Kei Yonagi's she's just an easy add. She's just an easy add. She's got to be added this year, surely. Fuck. Where do we go from here? I don't even know. Let's go up here. Date Omito from Sakigake Otokojuku. Another one that's actually probably, like, he's not confirmed, but there is a file in the stages for him. He's a pretty easy choice because he starts off as a villain, but then he joins the main roster later. So, I mean, there's a lot of that in that particular series, and it's quite a common trope in shonen anyway. But the reason why that's important is because it gives them more viability as, like, a sellable character. It's like, they weren't just a one-off villain. and they weren't just somebody that was in the main roster that wasn't that important. They were somebody that started as a villain and they joined the main roster. So that's why I think he's pretty much a shoo-in, especially considering his stage is in the files. I know that doesn't mean he's definitely going to be added, but his stage is in the files, and they added Ryzen as an enemy-only unit, who is one of his allies in that first arc. Again, starts as an enemy and joins the other side. So, look, I think a very good chance. Very good chance. Let's move on to this one. Hinata Hyuga from Naruto. Believe it or not, I quite like Naruto, me and a lot of bloody other people in the world. But in general, Naruto has been a bit overserved in Jumputi. It just keeps getting content. Now, is that necessarily a bad thing? Well, no. If you're a massive Naruto fan, that's really great. But I think some people are getting a little bit tired of the fact that we keep getting these ensemble events, and somehow, some way, a Naruto or Hunter x Hunter character always seems to find their way in. Sometimes both. In fact, in quite a few occasions, both a Hunter x Hunter and Naruto character that had no business being in the event find their way into the event. Just this year, just give us one small Naruto event and then sprinkle a couple of Naruto characters across the year, or give us a massive Naruto event, but don't do that thing you do where you give us a massive Naruto event and then you go out of your way to constantly give us more and more and more Naruto characters. I think a lot of people were rubbed the wrong way by the addition of Guy Sensei as a limited. Standard base form Guy Sensei as a limited. It was a very odd choice by them. I know it was a ninja event, but like, you could have chosen anyone from Naruto. I don't know why Guy Sensei was the first choice, but I also heard some people say he's like the least ninja, but in a way he's kind of not. Like, he's a more traditional ninja. Like, he can't use ninjutsu, so he has to like actually be good at like sneaking around and good at fighting. So in a way I don't know. I'm just saying that it's kind of mad how much Naruto stuff we've had. If we're gonna get something, please can we just get Hinata? I know there is on the cards right now. We have a Boruto event. It could be a feature festival, and the first Hinata we could get could be, you know, Mama Hinata from Boruto. I don't have a problem with that. I like Mama Hinata. I like War Hinata, but any Hinata, please, I beg. Let's move on to, you know, we can start finishing up some rows here. Let's finish off the top row. So we have Chad from Bleach. I've wanted Chad added to the game for quite a while. Chad, something about Chad, he always gets the shaft in these games. I don't get it. In Bleach Brave Souls for the longest time, there was like no good Chad cards. And then in like every event where it seemed like they could add Chad, they didn't. Similar thing with the actual anime, like it seemed like he was going to have a really prominent role in a lot of arcs, and then he didn't. And bro, it's just a shame. Chad's such a like when he's introduced, he's such like a pure character. He's such a good character. Like, he's just like, he's out here living his life, and he's got this bond of friendship with Ichigo. And it's just like, if you read those early chapters of Bleach facts, like, yeah, fuck yeah, Chad's awesome. And then they just dead his character throughout the rest of the series. It's such a shame. Give me Chad, yeah. Also, he's a boxer, so hey, eligible for the Olympics event, but probably not. This one also, this one's interesting. Also technically eligible for the Olympics event, but I wouldn't get your hopes up for it. It's Cascade from Midori no Makiba. There are equestrian events at the Olympics, but the reason why I say Cascade is because I'm surprised Cascade wasn't added and we got Bare Knuckle instead. I think Cascade was big enough when he got added to Ori Collection. I know a lot of people were just like, it's the horse. And that's fair enough. I mean, you know, if you haven't read the series, why would you care? But he's an important character in the series. And he's obviously an important character. to a lot of people in Japan. You might remember there was a Jump crossover cover spread. I call it a cover spread, but it went round the magazine from front to back. And on it, you had Hinata riding Cascade. And basically, that just comes down to the fact that the people that were asked to draw that spread, that were the artists of the series that are currently popular in Weekly Shonen Jump, and they were asked to draw characters from manga artists that inspired them. And obviously, Furudate was inspired by Midori no Makibao, and obviously like Cascade as a character. So, hey, you know, why not? Why not add Cascade? Cascade for 2020. Now here's another sports one. There's a lot of sports ones here, but this one is a must. It is Bokuto from Haikyuu. Yo, Haikyuu is popping off right now, but even if you're not reading it, even if you're just watching it, Bokuto is such a good character. Like, you're going to see a lot more of him in the upcoming series. Or season? I really like Bokuto as a character. I love his energy. And I need to see him added. And in general, like, Haikyuu is another one where it's had, like, splatterings of content. But not an event. Not like a proper event. Like, it kind of shared an event at one point with... But it, like, wasn't a full event. And also, it doesn't help that Kageyama is in the game, but he's garbage. Not like, I mean, not unusable, but not good. He's not good. So, can't really, you know, I don't know. And this slot is Denji from Chainsaw Man. I couldn't really get a good picture of him in his human form, so here's a picture of him in his chainsaw form. There's not a lot to say about Chainsaw Man. It's carnage. It's carnage is what it is. If you like a simple main character who's just, you know, he's just trying to live his life, man. He's just trying. He just wants a good life, and he's finding it very hard to have that good life. And you know, he's made of chainsaws sometimes, mainly because he fused with his dog that was a chainsaw demon. Look, I don't need to explain this series to you. It's a man with a chainsaw for a head. He also has chainsaws for arms and sometimes chainsaws for legs. So you should read it, and he should be added to the game. The only thing that gives me a little bit of doubt is they have kind of avoided putting certain kinds of... For example, Josuke and Jotaro, the version 2s of those characters should have been beaten to shit. They should have been basically bleeding, torn clothes, like a complete mess. And instead, they were completely clean, like the exact same version as... The exact same sprite as version 1, just with the stand behind them, rather than having the sprite changed. And I think I wonder whether they would add Denji because he is quite a violent character. But, well, he's not, well, regardless. I think they will add him. I think they will add him eventually, hopefully. And, you know, 2020 could be his year. It could be. Let's go with two more sports ones. We have Panther and Tezuka. Panther from iShield 21 and Tezuka Kunimitsu is from the Prince of Tennis. Tezuka is probably a good choice for a limited from Prince of Tennis. Prince of Tennis is another one of those series like Saint Seiya where it seems to show up a lot, but it doesn't actually seem to get content added a lot. It's got a couple of events. I guess Prince of Tennis has a little bit more, but not a lot more. And not a lot more... Like, there's so much room for a Prince of Tennis actual event, and we haven't had a Prince of Tennis actual event. So if we could get that, that'd be great. And Panther is just one of my favourite characters in iShield 21. There's a lot of good characters in iShield 21, and I'd be happy to take more. But his whole arc, his whole energy is just amazing, and just... It'd just be so good to have a wider roster from iShield 21. It's so bizarre to me. We had Senna added as a character in the gacha, and then I mean, technically, Iruma is gacha as well. But all the rest of the characters have been free. It's so weird to me. I don't get it. But hey, more Aisha 21 would be good. Panther would be amazing. Tezuka would be amazing. And to finish off this row, we have Yui Kotegawa from To Love Ru. We just have to finish off our To Love Ru collection pretty much. And it's another character from our collection that we need in Jumputi. Oh, this video is going on for very long and I'm I'm suffering. Let's get through this last bit. Let's finish it off. On this row we have Obocha-man from Dr. Slump and Ryuji Otsuki from Yu-Gi-Oh!, also known as Duke Devlin. These two are pretty much like, I don't know. I would say Obocha-man is a choice based purely on the fact that he has a good chance of getting in, and I'm surprised he hasn't been added from Dr. Slump. But again, Dr. Slump is a series that hasn't had that many characters. It's just Arale, Gatchan, and now Dr. Mashirito, which is really just recycling a UB sprite, so not a lot of content there. And with Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Got the shaft getting a Pooty feature instead of an actual event. And I like Ryuji Otsuki, and I think you could do like a one-off event, like you know, his story's quite short in Yu-Gi-Oh! But he does like join the cast a little bit. So you could easily have him as like a one-off, like Dungeon Dice Monsters or whatever it's actually called in the manga event. So I think that'd be nice. I think that'd be a nice way to go back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Without having to do a full feature festival. Eventually they will have to do a feature festival on Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think it'll probably be around, I don't know, would it be around Battle City or would it be around Millennium World? I don't know. Like Bandit King Bakura, you know, that would be kind of cool. But I don't know if that would actually happen. I feel like Marek is a lot more likely at this point. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But moving on to the next line. Who do we have missing from the next line? Mikoto Ayura from The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. If you haven't watched Psyche K Reawakened on Netflix, it's alright. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's basically more of the same what you're used to with Psyche. I will say I flicked through some of the options. I think they've changed some of the dub actors because some of the voices sounded a little bit different. I might be wrong on that. I might be wrong, but they did sound maybe just a little bit different. But it's pretty good. It's pretty short though. It's pretty short, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that's just them testing the waters, and then if everybody watches it, then hey, they'll make more. And I'm hoping they do make more because it's interesting to me having a series that the source material ended and they were like, fuck it, this is sick, let's just keep going. And I want more. I do want more, but obviously it will take longer because they're gonna have to make their own stories for it, and there is a potential for quality to drop off. So, you know, we've all got our fingers crossed for more. We all got our fingers crossed for more. We also have Matora from Yuna's Haunted Hot Springs. I could have chosen pretty much any character. Matora's just my favourite. That's the bottom line. There's not a lot more else to it, you know? Like, there's a lot of main roster characters that would get added before her, probably. But that would really depend on which event they did. Like, she could easily be a like, Transcendent class stage or whatever as part of a larger Yuna's Haunted Hot Springs event. I just don't know whether they would actually do a full event for that series. Again, because this game does, in its own way, try and be a little bit more family friendly than maybe some other games. So I don't know if they would want to do a full event on a series that's all about titties, basically. That being said, I do think she has an outside chance. She has an outside chance because I think she would work as like a Transcendent, or maybe as a free unit. I think she'd probably be a free unit. We got one more from this row. Who is it? It is Madoka Ayukawa from Kimagure Orange Road. A series that has sold a lot of volumes in its time, still has not shown up in any of the Shonen Jump anniversary games. Very bizarre to me. She's not she's not really the protagonist, but she is the main featured character, sort of thing. It's kind of a similar situation to Stop Hibari-kun or Nisekoi. The main character, the protagonist or whatever, the protagonist is not the main character. Does that make sense? I don't know. The character you know the series for is not the character that is introduced to you as the protagonist normally. I think I've got that right. I might have got that a bit confused in my head. Guys, I'm sick. Leave me alone. On the next row, we have HINOMARU from Magical Tararuto-kun. Actually, a very, like, weird series. A very weird series, but it's one of those series that has, like, a lot to its art style and a lot to its, like, the way it handles characters, and, like, it's so bizarre, and there's a reason why it's become, like, sort of a mini, like, cult hit. Like, there's all these, like, pachinko games and stuff that have, like, redraws and reanimated versions of the series on them. It's just, I don't know, it's a interesting series, and I always want to know more about the series, but realistically not much has been translated, and, like, the anime, like, I think I only found it with, like, Spanish subtitles or something, no English, and there's games as well. There's games, but they're not in English. So it's just, it's such a weird, such a strange shit. By the way, if you don't know, I said it in the podcast. I haven't said it in this video. I am pursuing learning Japanese. I have been doing it every day for 2020 so far. I know that's not much because it's only like 4 days in. But I have been doing it every day. And hopefully at some point, eventually in the next few years, I'll get to the point where something being in Japanese isn't as much of a problem as it is now. That's what I'm hoping for. Moving on, we have Suika from Dr. Stone. Just add anyone from Dr. Stone, guys. Dr. Stone, how has Dr. Stone only got one character? That's crazy. Like, we had the anime, the manga's popping off, we had Dr. Stone reboot. Like, how does Dr. Stone only have one character with how popular it is right now? I say that, there's a lot of series that have no characters, so, hey, you know, we've even talked about some of those today, but damn, that's a real shame. We should be seeing more Dr. Stone characters, really. And to finish off this row, we have Tensai Man from Lucky Man. I don't think we're necessarily going to get more Lucky Man anytime soon, but, I scrolled up. But out of nowhere, we got, like, Yonaoshi Man and the Special Blessing Lucky Man. 2 new characters from Lucky Man, a series that had laid dormant for over a year. Maybe the devs have decided that people like Lucky Man enough to give it some new characters, and if they do, I would like to see Tensai Man. Now, the final row. We have a few different characters. Some you will know and some you won't. I'll save one in particular for last, the final slot. But the last 2 before that, let's go with this one. Hyusei from World Trigger. Easy choice. Easy choice. We need more World Trigger. We know that one of the devs is a fan of World Trigger, and Hyusei is just an obvious addition due to his role in the manga, which I don't really want to spoil because I don't know where about the anime is, but then again, I think the anime promotional video spoiled it for the next season. I don't know. Bottom line, I would like to see Hyusei added. That's an easy one. Now this next one is Sakura. Probably not the Sakura you're used to. This is Sakura Sugikata. Oh my god, I'm sick, guys, please. Sugigata. There we go. He is a character from Jinai Ryutsu. I can't remember the whole title. Majima-kun. Majima-kun Tsubasa. He's a character that features quite prominently in the series. Another series I would love to read that is not translated. It's a nightmare. I'll get there in the end, guys, don't worry. But I want more characters added from this series. I think there's potential. I think there is potential for the artist who has like 3 series in Weekly Shonen Jump to potentially get his own Sensei Festival. Maybe a smaller sized one, but all the same. and I would like to see him added. The last one, we're finally here, and oh, it's been a journey, guys. This video is so long, and my voice is dying. We have Sakuragi Hanamichi from Slam Dunk. Now, all the characters here, you know, I mentioned how some of these could have been added. There are so many ways Sakuragi could be added, but I think it will be one of two ways. One, we get that massive sports event for the Olympics, and Sakuragi is chosen as the limited for that event. Or number two, Sakuragi, the guy with a number 10 on the back of his shirt, will be saved for the 10 million downloads event, and he will feature as the limited in that event. It could be either one of those. It could be something else, to be fair, but I think those two are the most likely. There could be an argument for the 10th also having something to do with Katekyo Hitman Reborn, because he is the 10th boss of the Vongola. But, alas, we do not know much to go off of for Katekyo Hitman Reborn, because there's not a lot of stage info in the files, and the same with Slam Dunk. There's not a lot of stage info or anything in the files, but Slam Dunk in 2020 has to be. It has to be. And that's it. That's the end of the bingo board. We're gonna try and cross characters off as we go along throughout the year. This was a long video. Let me know who you would have chosen differently in the comments. If you could be bothered, make your own bingo board. Send it to us on Twitter. I'll be happy to see it. And we're going to keep track. Over the course of 2020, we're going to keep track of our board, and I want you to keep track of your predictions and stuff. And hopefully, we can actually get some predictions right this year, because I had some ups last year with my predictions. I had some big downs. Now, let's see how this goes. But that's going to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and bye.